Come, gather round, everyone. They're about to talk Disney. I am still so confused as to whether I'm going to eat at Connections or Creations. So the only way I can keep them straight is I have to think, okay, well, my mouth connects to my stomach, so I guess that's Connections.
So I call Catherine to see how dinner at the restaurant is going, and she says, I can't talk to you right now. I'm talking to Mickey. So I'm like, okay, here's the big cheese. I get it. And then she says, hold on, he wants to talk to you. So she FaceTimes me, and I'm FaceTiming with Mickey as I'm getting ready for the podcast.
I don't understand why people spend hard-earned money on a Mickey ice cream sandwich in the parks. I mean, we literally all have ice cream sandwiches in our freezers at home. We don't have Mickey bars. From the mind and creator of the Disney YouTube channel Living in Diz comes a whole new Disney podcast. Okay, can we talk some serious Disney here now? Nope. Get ready for all the Disney knowledge that you can handle. It's Corey. It's Lawrence. It's the DIZPod.
You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
Hello and welcome everyone to the DIZPod. Lawrence, this is our weekly DIZPod. This is our weekly podcast for Disney. Anything Disney. I'm just gonna say anything Disney because you never know what we're gonna cover. One thing we don't. It's not our main source of topics or anything, but there's so much news this week.
Lot of news this week. We will touch on a little bit of that later on, but it was coming at us fast and furious this week.
Really, really fast. So yeah, it'll be good to cover all that more on the second half or next third of the show. But yeah, we have a very special guest, extra special guest today. She's so sweet. Was able to just meet her a moment ago backstage, and she kind of reminds me of my mom a little bit. So
it's funny because when she was talking, that's who I thought about your mom, and I've never met your mom, but that's it just came to mind.
Get that feel.
Yeah, so we're very, very lucky to have this guest with us tonight. It is Eula Toca, who is the sister of the inspiration behind Disney's Princess Tiana. And she became Instagram famous a little bit ago when she was spotted meeting the princess. I'll show you that video and then we'll bring her in. All right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Eula Toca, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So how long ago was that event, and what did you think about meeting Princess Tiana and Prince Naveen?
Well, it was a wonderful event. Just recently, right at the moment, I can't remember the exact dates we were there, but it was wonderful. They were very gracious, lovely time. I had a wonderful time while I was there in Disney World.
Awesome. That's awesome. Go ahead, Corey.
Go ahead, Lawrence. Go ahead.
So give us a little bit of background about your family and your sister, and certainly the restaurant and how that all came to be.
Okay. Well, first of all, our family was quite a large family. There was 11 of us, and she was our oldest sister. Leah Chase was the oldest sister in the family. And she always wanted to do things. Our family motto was um, work hard, pray, work hard, and do for others. Our parents always taught us that. And she followed that to a T. She enjoyed the restaurant business by working as a waitress shortly before she became a cook in a restaurant, because she never referred to herself as a chef. She always said, I am a cook. And she met and married her husband, Edgar Dooky Chase Jr. His parents had the restaurant, Dooky Chase Restaurant in New Orleans, and that she really, really enjoyed that type of thing, the restaurant business. She really, really enjoyed it, and she went on from there. She was always very humble, never ever forgot our humble upbringing,
Mm.
all of the things that our family and our parents always raised us to realize and know that through life. And she was always a very gracious person and always did for others. And we're just very blessed to be so honored to have her and her legacy throughout all of this. She is known, I'm not sure if you know this, but she is known in New Orleans as the Queen of Creole Cuisine.
Mm.
And she's, as I said, she was a wonderful, wonderful lady. And her whole family, her in-laws who started the business years ago, uh, were very, very wonderful people. Her husband was a wonderful people. And her children, her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren, they are carrying on this legacy with their mother in mind, their mother and father in mind, in doing all the things that their parents did also. So it's really a wonderful thing, and it's a blessing, really a wonderful blessing that we have in this family that God has given us. So we are grateful.
That is really amazing. It's like, everybody wants to carry on family members' legacies, right? But you have Disney carrying along the legacy and values of your own family. What's that like?
That's an amazing thing. I cannot express how it's just overwhelming when we stop to think, especially when I stop to think about that. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it's a privilege. It really is a privilege as I think about it, coming from such humble beginnings and going this far in life and knowing that perhaps her legacy will be carried on from here on. Through this.
And it's Disney, right? It's cemented. So Tiana's going to live on in Disney history for probably hundreds of years. I mean, they've been making movies as that long, and
Right.
everybody knows Snow White. Everybody, from 100 years ago, almost.
Very true. Very true. So we look forward to perhaps our children, grandchildren, great grandchildren looking forward to doing this and knowing that this was a part of their lives also.
Hmm. I have some other things too, Lawrence. But what else do you have for her? Because I want to kind of go. You might have an order of things here.
I was just going to ask, like, family of 11. What was that like?
It was it was chaotic sometimes, as always, large families, but it was a beautiful family. Our parents were very, very family oriented, and they taught us well. They really, really taught us very well to, as I said, pray, work hard, and do for others. And when you have that background and you learn that and you are raised that way, you continue on. And it's just something that you do naturally. It's not anything that we have to do that we have to really work at when you grow up that way, and and you see your parents doing those things, because our parents always did the same thing. We prayed together, we worked hard together, and we always did for others. And that was taught from the very beginning. It was always fun. There was 11 of us, and this was really fun. The majority were girls. We had 9 girls and only 2 brothers. And as I said, my sister Leah, she was the oldest one in our family. And she was just really wonderful. Our older sisters were really wonderful to the younger ones. They really did a wonderful job helping out, taking care of us, doing the things that our parents needed help with. And we just went from there. And it was, as I said, it was a lot of fun can you imagine a lot of girls getting together, giggling all the time and laughing at funny things?
Yeah. It's like having all your best friends living in the house with you.
That's right. That was another thing. Our home was a small little home, but it was so odd that all of our friends and relatives, because we had relatives nearby also, they would always congregate at our home because of the largeness. I think because our family, because we had all of this huge family, and we did fun things together. It was really, really wonderful.
Wow.
So instead of having 11 children in the house, sometimes we would have 30.
You had the house to hang out at then.
Yeah, we really had one, especially summertime. It was always wonderful, wonderful in the summertime. Our relatives would come over, aunts and uncles would bring their children, and the children would play outdoors and have lots of fun. And we did all of those wonderful things. And it's a wonderful thing to look back on that and really, really know and appreciate that.
Wow. Like, how about what's a special personal memory that you can share throughout your time with your sister? Something that kind of encapsulates her spirit and dedication to both the family and the food.
Well, the food, first of all, was always a thing that we sat around the table together. That was another thing in our home. Everyone had dinner together in the evenings. And my sister was always just such a wonderful, caring person for all of the younger ones. She helped our mother cook. She helped do things around the house, and they all did, all of my other older sisters. And then, of course, after they got married and left away from home, it was our turn to carry on and do the same thing. I really, really remember her coming home from after she was married and had children of her own, and bringing those little children. We were so happy to have little children in the house. Her oldest daughter was our first niece, and we were thrilled to death to have a nice little niece. We thought we were really important then. Oh boy, we're an aunt now. We have a niece. And then she and my other older sisters, when they got married and had children, they would bring their children, and we, the younger ones, used to help out babysit the children and have lots of fun. We really did have lots of fun with the little children. We were pretending like, I guess, they were little dolls for us, but it was really neat.
Another female, I was going to say, added to the family.
Right.
How many boys then? There couldn't have been many.
Two. Only
Wow.
2. And those 2 brothers are younger. They were born after I was born. And I was literally the 8th or 10th girl down. And then the 9th down. And then my 2 brothers were born. My oldest brother was born right after me. He was 2 years younger than me. And then our youngest brother was the youngest in the family.
Okay, so for those who may not know, if we're thinking about, I want to make sure I pronounce it right. Is it just Lee?
Leah.
Leah. Okay.
Leah.
Leah. Okay.
Leah.
Okay. So for Leah, when Disney made contact with your family, was she with us still, or did? Did she have
Yes,
no idea
she
this?
was.
Okay.
She was still with us. She was still with
Okay.
us.
Okay.
Her death was in 2019.
Oh, okay. Very recently. How so take us back to that time. Like did Disney contact her? And if they did, what did they say? Well, how'd
Um,
that all play out?
I'm going to tell you that I really couldn't tell you because I am away from New Orleans.
Okay.
My husband was military. He was in the Air Force, and we traveled. And I would go home frequently. We would go back to New Orleans frequently, to visit with family and friends. But when all of this came about, they would just call me and tell me or say things that were going on, but I was not there to experience all of whatever really happened.
So
Okay.
what did you think when she called you, or when the family called you to tell you, that they're thinking of doing this about your sister?
I was overjoyed, overwhelmed, couldn't believe it. It was just so many things, going on. And my sister herself, she was it was just a wonderful thing for her, just really, really wonderful. She really, really enjoyed what she did in the restaurant business. And she just, I don't know, I really can't explain it. It was just so wonderful to know that she enjoyed doing what she did.
So before she becomes a waitress, and then a cook, as you say, or as she said, um, could you see that in her? Like that was always what she was going to do?
Most definitely. She used to always say that she wanted to get into the restaurant business. And by chance, by the grace of God, whatever it was, she met this gentleman, Edgar Dooky Chase Jr., whose parents had a restaurant already. And it was just one of those things that developed from there.
Wow.
So did she take over the kitchen then over there?
Years later, after her children were raised a little bit or got a little bit older, is when she went in and started doing the cooking. And she was a wonderful cook, very good. She invented dishes that we never had at home that I remember. But and it was always very, very good food. And then, of course, she did some of the traditional dishes that we grew up eating from our mother, who was also a very good cook.
How many of you would you say in your prime were great cooks, and was there anybody that couldn't really cook at all in that group of
Yes, I
11?
can say. They're my second oldest sister, the sister that's right after my sister Leah. She was the best cook in the family. Aside from my mother, she could cook anything. And this is one of my things I always say to people, and they think it's kind of odd. My sister Cleo could go outdoors, scoop up a bucket of dirt and throw a little grass in it, bring it inside, and cook it, and you would be licking your fingers forever. That's how good a cook she was.
That's a
She was
compliment.
she was really marvelous. And some of us did get to where we did cook later years. I learned how to cook a little bit more, and some of my other sisters. There was one sister that they always said, you go to Eleanor's house and you eat whatever she's got on the stove. And she said, I never did claim to be a good cook, so just eat it. That was always fun. And then our other sisters and my brothers also are good cooks. They learned how to cook also.
Okay. We got a question in the chat. What was Leah's favorite thing to cook, and what was your favorite dish that she made?
I think gumbo was her favorite thing. That's a traditional dish. Filet gumbo is a very traditional dish in New Orleans. And I really think that might have been her favorite dish.
Makes sense. I would love to try it. So speaking of that, like, where does this stuff exist now? Is there any family members is this restaurant still in existence? Is it running? Is anyone carrying that legacy on?
Most definitely. Leah's children, her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren, they're still all part of this restaurant, Dooky Chase Restaurant on the corner of Orleans and Miro, 2301 Orleans Avenue. I can tell you exactly where it is. And it's a wonderful restaurant, very family. As I said, the family comes together. They help out in the restaurant. Her grandson is the head chef now. And she has another granddaughter who is also a professional chef, and they carry on. Plus my nephew, Edgar Chase, Edgar Dooky Chase the fourth, he is really quite an entrepreneur. He has opened up another restaurant in the business district in New Orleans called Chapter 4 because he is the fourth generation. He also has a restaurant in the New Orleans airport called Leah's Kitchen. And then he has a restaurant also in the airport. It's like a little fast food stand. You get hot dogs, hamburgers, and things like that. But the other two restaurants, along with the one on Orleans Avenue, they're really restaurants, big restaurants.
So happy to hear that. Has the town or the area or even you all or them capitalized on any of this at all, where maybe there's a sign down the road like home of, or this restaurant is inspired by, or anything like that, to let people know where the roots are of this restaurant?
Yes, there are a few things around the city itself. There are, we have right not very far from the restaurant, there's a thing painted with her picture on it. There in front of the restaurant itself, it has something there. One of the schools in New Orleans have been renamed after her, and it's an honor, as I should say, a really, really honor for us to see how wonderful she has done and how this city has really, really come together and recognized her as a person, who gives. And her family, one of her sons was very well known in the city. He really, really gave a lot and knew a lot of, knew how to give, I should say. Generous, very generous in community service.
Yeah, see, we have good principles, right? We work hard all our lives and we just do what we think we're supposed to do, and it's like,
Yes.
wow, when you get rewarded, the universe comes back around and rewards you.
Very true. Very true. And you never lose your humbleness through all of this. You're still humble and grateful, very grateful for the things that, that have come back to you. Very wonderful.
I think being grateful is something that helps keep you grounded, right? I think that's
definitely, most definitely.
Yeah. We could talk to you forever. Why don't we do this? There's some questions. If anybody wants to ask a few questions on the way out, just put a Q in the chat, and we'll go ahead and try to answer as many as we can in a few short minutes. Let's see. Sharon says, was the restaurant affected by the flooding in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina?
Yes, it was. The restaurant was really inundated with the water and the flooding and things like that. And as I remember, all of the inside of the restaurant had to be redone. And that was another thing. It was so wonderful to see so many people come together to help our family, to help them rebuild this restaurant. People came from all over the United States, and they helped out. They gave generously. There's another chef there that was close friends with my sister. He made sure that everything, the people got together and helped out. It was just really a beautiful, beautiful thing. And now it has been rebuilt and it's thriving, really, really doing very well.
And that was before all the notoriety of being, the inspiration, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of that came from the restaurant really being a cultural hub during a lot of the civil rights.
Civil rights movement. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. There were places that the civil rights movement was not able to meet, and this was one of the places that they were able to meet. My sister and my brother-in-law, Dooky Jr., they opened up their doors and invited the civil rights movement people to come in, have their meetings. They served them food, made sure that, all of the workers were very well fed. And it was just a privilege to be able to do that.
Wow.
Roderick Freeman says that I believe that Leah was a big part of integration, and she would make sure that whites and blacks would eat together regardless of color.
Regardless of color. Regardless of color. That was another thing that our family always, we were taught, our parents taught us from little, even though we were segregated, because back in the day, of course, many things were segregated. But we were always taught we are all God's people. Doesn't matter what color you are, where you came from, you are all God's people, and you have to treat everyone in a wonderful, kind way and do for others regardless to who they are.
That's beautiful. Okay, so this is it for me here. The ride. You went, you did the ride, correct? Who did the ride? Tell us about that whole experience. You arrive at Disney, how did they treat you, all that good stuff.
All I can tell you, it was absolutely awesome, wonderful, beautiful. You have to go and do it and experience it for yourself to see the beauty of it all. It was just really fascinating and beautiful and brought back beautiful memories. I really, really did enjoy it tremendously.
And I would think more so because it's Tiana more as your sister than as, Princess Tiana. So
very true.
Really brought a lot of that up.
It really was. It was really fantastic.
Excuse me.
You're riding a Disney ride, but this is your family. It's a Disney ride, but nobody can say that.
I'm telling you, it's really, I'm going to be frank with you, it was overwhelming for me.
Did you cry?
I was in tears of joy, needless to say.
Yes.
And it was just, I like I said, I can't explain it. It was just overwhelming and beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. And then to be with family while I was there. We had family there. And it was just an awesome thing. Very,
one of the most beautiful moments in your family's history together.
Very true.
Unbelievable. Kim Patton has a question here. Leah's love of American art, and her personal collection.
That she really loved art, and she always did her best to have artists come to the restaurant to display some of their artwork. And should you visit the restaurant, you will be in awe of the beautiful, beautiful artwork that is throughout the restaurant. In every room of the restaurant, there's beautiful artwork. She also, as I recall, sat on the board of the museum, the Art Museum in New Orleans. And it was just one of the other things, I should say, that she really did enjoy. And please, if you all get a chance, anyone who's hearing me, go to Dooky Chase restaurant in New Orleans and you will see some of this fantastic artwork.
That I if I'm ever in that area, it is a no-brainer. I need to hit this restaurant. I'm a foodie. I love eating food. I'll eat everything on the menu. I love that stuff.
Well, that'll be good. And then you'll be there and you can view all the art while you're eating.
Yes, absolutely. But thank you so much for sharing what you did with us. We really, really appreciate it. It is truly our privilege to have you on and share all this with us. I feel like I might speak for whoever's listening and watching now and later. that you really brought some depth and meaning to the Tiana story. Just to watch it now will mean so much more. To go on the ride will mean so much more. So thank you for all of that.
Well, you're welcome, but I have to thank you for giving me the privilege to be on your show, on your podcast, and making me feel comfortable, because I do feel comfortable. I thought I was going to be too nervous to speak, but it's like sitting down talking with someone.
That's what I told you.
It was really a privilege for me also, and a privilege for my family. They will be very grateful also.
Well,
Thank
tell
you
them all
so much.
you're very welcome. Tell them all we said hello, and if we are ever in town, we for sure will go, and I'll let them know who I am, so they know
Oh,
whose podcast you were on.
thank you so very much. And
Thank you so much.
don't forget our motto: pray, work hard, and do for others.
Do
And
for
believe me, it will come back to you 1,000-fold.
I
Okay.
truly believe that the universe works that way.
Yes.
Everyone in chat, blast the chat. That we blast the chat. What that means is we're looking at people commenting right now, all great comments, and we say blast the chat. They put those emojis in there to kind of celebrate, and they're thanking you for coming on, and we can blast the chat for Eula, everybody. Beautiful, beautiful lady, and
Thank you.
you're very welcome.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me. Really, thanks for having me.
You're
Take
welcome.
care.
Take care.
Okay. You all too. Take care.
All right. There you go. Our biggest celebrity to date, Eula. Great. She was amazing, wasn't she?
Wow. That is phenomenal. I don't understand how we are this lucky. I really don't. Every
Well,
day.
it's like she said, the universe comes back. We're just here trying to do a good thing.
Right.
Talk Disney, bring positivity, and I'm just finding as time goes on and I get older and older, things just come back to you in the
Yeah.
universe. Be
Yeah.
grateful. Be grateful.
Mm-mm-mm.
Even with what I do,
Mm-hmm.
literally, this happens to me now and then because you got to stop and pinch yourself. I leave. I'll be, hey, leaving Magic Kingdom. It's a trek to get back to your car. We all know that.
Yeah.
I have time to think,
Yeah.
and I'll get off live streaming and just walking back to the car. I just reflect now and then. And I just say, I love my life. I love what I do. Like, I just had a ton of fun out here. I just shared Disney with my Disney family. It's what's better than that, and you do good things and you get blessed back. So
It's been it just
I wasn't
oops.
as nervous.
What's funny? I hit the space bar. We brought her back. We could probably can we take her right out? Kick from studio?
There you go.
I've never done that. We kicked
yeah.
her out. We love you,
Eula. It's been an interesting week for me, personally, work-wise, personal-wise. It's been crazy. And then to have all of this going on with the show and all the guests that we've lined up and being able to speak to somebody like Eula Toca tonight is just absolutely incredible. I just really feel really blessed. Last week, while you were off in the middle of the ocean somewhere, we had debated on doing a home stream, and
That's right. I forgot to ask you if you even did that, but I guess you didn't.
We did not. We thought about it, and then we just decided not to. We were just busy, but it was it was still a good week. So for anybody that doesn't know, since we didn't chit chat before, and Corey was out in the middle of the ocean all week, I accepted a new position at my job. I've been there 7.5 years, and they offered me
Congratulations publicly.
Thank you. And so now instead of managing a team of 2, I'm managing a team of 10. So it has become very busy. I'm on day 3, and but it is going phenomenally. So, um, it's work wise, it's home, it's Finley and Catherine, and everything's just really kind of moving well right now. And then you have the podcast, who is now top 10. We actually fell from 6, Roderick, to 10th, but that is 10th out of 1,235 Disney podcasts. I don't understand this. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Did you think a year ago you were doing not a year ago, a little more than a year ago, you were doing the audio only podcast? Did you think you'd be top 10 out of 1,200 podcasts? Oh, sorry. Corey, you're muted. I thought it was me. Okay. I got out of the studio because I thought it was me, folks. So I'm glad you all said something. um, but no, it was wild not seeing all of you last week. And that was really why I wanted to do a home stream, just so that I could see some of you and interact. But that's okay. We're here this week, and next week it will be it'll be even busier. We'll I think talk a little bit about that tonight as we get off the show. We'll give you a little tease of what's going on next week. Yes, Catherine, it looked like he was fired up. Whatever he was saying, it was really good. So I guess Mushu heard him, and Mushu liked it, maybe, because we don't know what he said.
All right. I think I'm back now. So what happens is I'm just going to this happens once a podcast for like the last 3 or 4. I get a little crackling, so I just pull the plug out and put it back in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to have to order one of these on Amazon later and replace the wire, which is so weird. Okay, I really had a lot to say.
Allison said you broke it.
I break everything. So now I can't remember what I said. What were you saying when?
What was I saying? Chat, what was I saying? Somebody rewind the tape.
Yeah, what was he saying? My memory's like 5 seconds long.
I think I was saying about that we were going to do the.
Oh, yeah. And I just said, hey, maybe I was saying like, you just do. We just do what we do. And I said, Lawrence doesn't even, stop me if you've heard this. I said, Lawrence doesn't, I wouldn't know a lot of these numbers that we have. And especially with the podcast, I would have no idea. If you said, where do you think your podcast ranks in the world for Disney content? I'd be like, I don't know, 5,000? I don't know. And Lawrence hits me with things like, hey, by the way, and those things are always so encouraging. And I love it. I try to show my excitement when I text you back. I'm like, what? Wait, what, huh?
Yeah.
Or I'll say, hey, you picked up this many subs tonight, at the park, or you had great impressions, tonight, behind the scenes. And it's amazing stuff. We do what we love. And then this all just comes back to reward you. And,
right.
Well, we're having fun doing this, and it just makes it even that much better that we can rank that high. That's crazy. I mean, this is what we're doing. I just wonder, what are people doing that are like 100 or 1,000? Like, what are they doing?
I don't know. Well, I'll say this. I think the fact that we are live makes a big difference, because everybody watching, everybody in chat adds to the story. They add to the episode. They add to the content. And that fuels us. And I think that it's probably part of your and my personality that we feed off of their energy. So I think that that's really where a lot of that comes from. And so, yeah, Alicia, we were in 6th. We fell to 10th. We were at 5th at one point, but there's some.
We're at 5, yeah. Oh, are we down to 10 again?
Yeah, we're back to 10. That's okay. We're a top 10.
Exactly. And even if we were like top 500, it would be like, wow, that's amazing.
Exactly.
So we're very grateful. We'll go back to that word grateful again.
Yep.
Corey on Main Street says busy week. Corey was gone last week. Was going to do a home stream. Oh yeah. Oh, she was saying what I missed or
Yeah.
what I was saying
Yeah.
I got it. Thank you, Court. Court's getting there. Court pays attention and she helps. I notice these things. She's making the list with you, the pro tips.
That's right. She's making the pro tips list. Yeah. Catherine's right. It was that week that we missed last week because you had to go off and play on the boat. That's why we fell at the 10th.
And we're going to talk about, maybe. Well, you know what? Maybe. We were off a week. And the last segment of this week will not be in the parks. It's going to be vacation recap.
I like it.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of news. Jennifer L. says, you're all killing it on the pod. Thank you, sis.
Thank you.
Alicia wanted us to switch sides, huh? She's taking Shannon Wood's place.
Yeah. I switched us. We're all good. Yeah, there was.
So what kind of shirt are you wearing? Oh, a Tiana. I don't have a Tiana. Come on, man.
Tiana.
I was thinking when I went into the wardrobe today, I don't have a Tiana shirt. And I was like, I think wardrobe dropped the ball on this one. Like, normally I would have been outfitted, you and I, like opposite color Tianas or something.
Yeah. This one is hot off the presses.
Yeah.
Catherine can give me a better line than that. But
hot off the needle.
Hot off the needle. So yeah, she worked hard on this last night, and today when she got home from work, she was working on it. So yeah, put this one together. I think I'm wearing this to ride the ride on the 3rd.
Okay.
But then when I talked about this episode, that's what we decided that I would wear it for the episode.
Catherine says you're missing 3 buttons.
I am.
I mean, sometimes I could. Oh, the bottom. I mean, sometimes I can miss the top ones because I usually have a T-shirt there, and you can just. So speaking of my shirt, this shirt is special because I bought this in the Bahamas.
That is the first shirt on the podcast not bought or made in the U.S. How about that?
How about that, huh? And they had multiple colors of this, and we walked into that store, and Tammy's like, you need one of those for the podcast. And I was like, yeah, I definitely do, for sure. So we're working that today. Had to wear that. And Jen W says, you'll be back to 6 or better soon. I think so. We'll check in on that every week. Why not? For fun. Sharon says she's loving the cruise videos. Can't wait for the next one. What'd you think?
So watch the first one, the show Oceanaria, right? That was after Saturday's stream. That was, hello, did you see how high they were up there they were? That was crazy. Jumping off a boat into a pool of water that looked like it was like that. It's crazy.
If that guy falls backwards, he's in the ocean. That's
crazy.
It. Yeah.
And then, so that was great. And like really a little tease of kind of the entertainment that you're going to see on the cruise. And then last night I had an HOA meeting, so I didn't get to watch it with all of you, but I did watch it when I got home with Catherine, and man, we need to go on a cruise. We really need to go on a cruise. It got me really hyped for looking at cruises. I didn't get to today, but I really want to start looking at that. So, maybe we'll plan for next year, but I'm certainly looking forward to the next 7 weeks of content from the vlogs for sure.
Thank you. I was happy to be able to get that much, and I've been doing this for a long time, so to be able to balance that with still relaxing and enjoying the vacation. We had a long talk about that, Tammy and I, when we went to Alani 2 years ago, when we knew we were going to live stream a lot too and vlog. And it really was the question: to do any, to do some, how much? And I think the real selling point was, okay, we've been together for decades, right? And what do we do? What have we always done? Even back in the big camcorder days, what do we do? I had a camera in my hand. We videoed everything. I went home and tried to edit it.
Right.
Is it any different? No. We're just going to be sharing it with the world instead. So that's how we were able to to justify it. And, the way Tammy supports the channel too, as the other half, is like, she was like, listen, if we are in, we went through the scenarios where we were going to do things live. Okay, we know we're going to the coffee farm. She's like, you love coffee, I don't care. She's like, so if you want some personal time, I will take them around and show them some things. You can look around. I'll take the camera. So it's that kind of teamwork too that helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got 8 more weeks, I think, of vlogs, and we're very excited to put those out little by little. And I thought it was a really good vlog too, just from a creator standpoint. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the music that went along with it.
Yeah.
And the comedy, right? There was I felt there were a lot of funny moments in that vlog. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and watch it later.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy was so funny about we might as well just get into our vacation recap, huh? And then end with some news.
Yeah. All good.
So we're just like you saw in the video, we're wanting, Tammy's thing was like, I want to go to the top and I want to wave to everybody when we leave. And I'm looking up and I can't tell that the boat is moving. To me, it looks like the Carnival Cruise is taking off. I'm like, oh, the Carnival Cruise is taking off. And Tammy's like, oh. And Jacob's like, no, we're taking off. And then she's like, oh, no, we got to get upstairs. We have to wave to the people. So I thought that was a real comedic moment in the vlog, where we had to try to get up to the 15th deck and or 16th and wave to the people. And we get up there and they're all gone. They're already gone.
Yeah, by the time you got there, I was like, where do you see anybody? They're way out there.
I mean, that ship burns rubber on the way out.
And that probably, I would think, says a lot that you didn't even really notice that you were moving.
Yes. So, a small reason of why we never went on a cruise to this point is Tammy knows that she does get seasickness. And yeah, we didn't feel it then. The first time we felt it was going to dinner. We get into the dining room and they have these big porthole windows.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear that boat was probably doing this, zin, 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 like a speedboat jumping waves. I mean, a wave literally almost crashed against the window. So we felt it then. We started to feel a little bit here and there like, okay, I don't know how this is going to go. We're out in the ocean now. Is this going to be all the time? Being new cruisers, Eula's trying to come back.
I see that. I got it.
So
she wants to say something about the cruise.
Yeah, she wants to talk about the cruise now. Come on, she's having a good time now.
She is.
When she said, oh, I felt really relaxed. I was like, okay, let's stay longer then. But can't do that to her.
No.
But yeah. Anyway, as far as the seasickness went, that carried over for Tammy into the next day in probably 24 hours, and then I think it went away for her after that. I mean, the boat stopped in the middle of the ocean at sea day and all that. So there was really nothing to rock the boat and all that. So that was pretty good. The final night was when we really felt. What's kind of funny is we moved more on the final night going to bed than the time I just spoke of, but it was the amount of motion that was happening in the beginning. It was just a lot of short movements, I felt like, which threw us off more. At the end of the night, Tammy went to bed a little bit sooner. Jacob and I came up. We were in the mall area sitting and having some treats, and I was having some coffee, and we were watching people walk through the mall, and they'd be walking, and it'd be like somebody, over exaggerating, like a drunk person or something. You'd be walking, and then you take 3 steps to the right real quick, and then back to the left real quick. And so I think Lawrence froze on us. As long as everybody can still hear me, I'll still keep going. But let's see. Oh, he had a power failure. Okay, so I got this. And I wasn't going to let Lawrence talk for the next 10 minutes anyway. So there. So anyway, yeah, that last moment, like we had these big movements, and the movements were so big that Tammy's in bed, Jacob goes to bed, I'm in bed, and something tells me I still had the lights on. I look over to the right where the closet was, and we had our shirts hanging up on hangers. The shirts were coming out of the closet and back in the closet, out of the closet and back in the closet. So it had some really strong movement. But of course, by the time I woke up, it was fine because we were docked back in Orlando, Cape Canaveral area. Did you get your sea legs back? You want to know something? I had none of that. I walked off the boat like I'd never been on a boat. Jacob, Jill, and Tammy had some, they kind of had, they felt like they were still on the boat for at least another day. But it wasn't enough to make them, throw them off too much. But definitely, that was our total experience with that. So it was pretty good. We used the little patches behind our ears. Tammy tried the relief band that Neil's been trying in the parks. She doesn't feel like that really helped her as much as the all natural dots behind your ear. I wore those every day, and I'm happy that I didn't really feel it much beyond night one, and it wasn't too bad. I'm just trying to pay attention to, if you all have questions for me for the cruise, I will be happy to answer those too. Let's see. So let's see. Jill Walker says, I watched day one last night, and it really has me excited for my October cruise. Well, I know you're going on the Icon of the Seas, and we did the Allure of the Seas, and last night we watched a 1 hour and 25-minute video on a complete tour of the Icon, and I really want to go on it, but it goes out of Miami, and lots of people that live in Central Florida, it's kind of a trek to get down to Miami, so I'd have to do a real sell job to Tammy for her to agree to go all the way down there, and I kind of side with her too. Like, that's a pretty big drive after going on a cruise. So I don't know if we'll ever go out of Miami, but the Icon looks amazing. I'm working on a trip right now. I am trying to convince Tammy right now, literally now, like when I get off here again, we're going to talk about it again, to sneak in a spring break cruise in March. And just a quick 3-day to hold us over. And our vacation plans for the summer, if they all go through, of course, is going to be Alani in June. And then Jacob takes off to Disney Tokyo Sea in July for his class trip. And while he's gone, I'm trying to see if we can get on the Utopia. And I would love to vlog that for sure with all of the new toys and things like that. So it was really weird for me to see. So we had a lot of comments, positive comments after last night's debut of our first day one vlog video. And all of a sudden, people are sharing their stories and thoughts and about cruising. And I'm like, wow, this is the most different thing we've ever done on our channel in 6 years. Like, it's like, wow. I can talk cruising now with people on our channel. So it's nice to have a new little tab that people can tap on the channel. It's pretty cool. So we, right now in the next couple years, won't cruise too much. But I think once we don't have to adhere to school schedules with the kids, I could really see Tammy and I doing a couple cruises at least a year. So we could turn out to be an even bigger cruise channel, and who knows, maybe we branch off with that and just create that too. But we will never ever slow down from doing what we do right now with Disney. This is just an offshoot and sharing and taking it all along, you all along with us. So if I do a quick recap on the trip, let me tell you, Royal Caribbean was amazing. It's the only cruise we've done. I have no experience with any other cruise line. I did do a lot of comparisons between Disney and Royal. So I can't really, we'll get into that a little bit. We'll touch on it. But so for us, our experience was so easy, Lawrence. It was so easy. We arrived. Now, what Royal does is you pay for your trip, a few weeks ahead of time, and you download the app. So it's like the My Disney Experience app for cruises.
Mm-hmm.
And you can start to look at your itinerary. The schedule starts to come up. If you've booked any dinners, things like that, it all starts to come up in there. You can mark them on your calendar, day 1, day 2, day 3, etc. And you get a window of time. So our window of time was we had to arrive between 1:30 and 2, and you are not allowed to show up before that. You're not allowed to proceed past a certain point until your time. It's very micromanaged like that, and I can see why they do it. They do it to manage the crowd.
Right.
I, going into this not knowing anything, actually pictured in my mind like we were going to be in the hot sun in a line that just zigzagged forever, with our big luggage in hand. But I was ready for it mentally. I'm like, okay, we'll probably, have to stand there for a while. I'll expect maybe 45 minutes or an hour. We'll stand in line and we'll slowly move along. I'm good with that. I expect it. But it wasn't like that at all. It was a walk-on. What you all see in the vlog was almost real time from the parking lot. The only things I cut was I showed a clip in the parking lot. Then you see us going up the gangway, I guess you would call it. And we only stopped for 5 minutes, a 5-minute conversation for them to check our credentials. And once they did that, we were on the ship. It was nonstop walking on the ship from probably 15 minutes from car to boat. Crazy. And I think that Royal is known for that, to get on that easy.
Oh.
And we took our bag with us. I would suggest if you could take your bag with you, so you don't have to worry about checking your bags and having to wait for them to come to your room, because it could be hours later, unless you're good with your luggage just sitting outside your room, because they do not put it in your room. We packed everything into one big bag, and Jill took her own. And we were able to go right to our room. The room was ready, and we dropped the luggage, and the family chose to tour the boat. So we toured the boat, and I just vlogged as we went along doing that. And that's when we came up with the situation like, oh my gosh, Carnival's leaving. Oh no, we're leaving. And we went up, and we found some food before that. And I would say the food at worst was very good, in my opinion.
Nice.
It was very good at worst.
Right.
We didn't eat anything that was not good. And a lot of it was 5 out of 5 Mickeys. I really enjoyed a lot of that stuff. And I think the only thing, listen, we went to the main dining. I don't want to jump around. I want to go in order here. So, day 1, we had some lunch. We were frustrated a little bit, but it's understanding. At least I was, because we knew we were trying to learn. So I was just trying to learn the boat, and just had my frustration was like a half out of 5 Mickeys, we'll say. But it was just the fact that, man, when we go to Disney and we do this, we know everything. We don't know a lot. I tried to study as much as I could through YouTube and learn, so I knew the ship better. But I studied so early, and I didn't do anything a couple weeks leading up. I forgot some of the answers. So it was a lot of like, well, when you go on a cruise, certain restaurants, quick serve and things like that, are included, and some are not. So the app is good with that, though. You can flip through the app, and it will tell you what is included. Even in the vlog, we went into Scoops and whatever it was called, and I thought that was included, and it wasn't. Could we have paid $5 per person to walk out with some ice cream? Yes, but there's free ice cream, or ice cream we paid for other places. So we're like, okay, thanks. We'll keep walking around trying to learn the boat. What's that?
Just find that one.
Yeah, just go find that one. So day 1 was exploration, and we played mini golf up top, and that was a lot of fun. And we found that the back of the boat was the place where you would kind of get the wooziest. if we stayed back there too long.
Oh.
Tammy would mention it for the most part. And the back of the boat was mini golf. It was flow rider, which if anybody doesn't know what flow rider is, it's a rush of water that comes up a ramp and you jump onto it on a skateboard with no wheels. So
Yeah, it sounds like
blog's
my
coming.
type of thing.
That blog is coming. Let me tell you. You can see how all the family members compare on that one. And, back there is the zip lining and the, what else is back there? Oh, rock climbing is in the front of the boat. No, front, back. Whatever. It's on one of the other ends. One of the ends. But anyway, so night one, we go in the dining room. I could do main dining all the time. It has a fancy feel.
Mm-hmm.
You can dress up or you can't dress down as much as you want. You have to have decent clothes, your khakis or, nice shorts, nice shirt. You can't, did I ever see anybody in there with like a t-shirt? I think we did, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
You at least go semi-casual. But
Okay.
just the surroundings, the furniture and the light fixtures, everything, and the way you're treated. We were treated 1,000%. I don't know how to say it. We were just treated so great. Like the service there on Royal, at least, is incredible. I'll say an example where I had a steak. I've actually switched over now. I order my steak differently because of Jacob. And when I got the Blackstone griddle a few months back, I kind of studied how to grill steaks for a while to be better at it. And you know what they say? They say once your steak gets past medium rare, it starts to lose its quality in taste.
I've heard that. Yeah.
And I noticed Jacob always orders his steaks, at least now, medium rare. So it comes, between like red and pink. It's kind of right there.
Yeah.
And I tried a piece and it melted in my mouth. I had to pull that line out like, you don't even need teeth to eat this steak. So I ordered one the same way the next night, and it came back what I used to eat, which was medium well. So I said, excuse me, this wasn't really cooked to my request, so could I have that redone, and be medium rare? And she was like, oh, yeah, definitely. Have you ever had this complaint, or anyone in chat, or anyone listening, you can comment below later on, that I had a full steak and a full plate of everything else, a brand new baked potato, broccoli, a broccoli tree, and a new steak in under 3 minutes.
Oh.
Cooked to perfection. Yes. Blows me away.
Yeah.
Unbelievable service there with that. So everything was great there in the main dining room. Loved all the foods. And wouldn't you know, there was one night that LID closed out the dining room. We closed it out.
Is anybody in chat surprised? Anybody? No? Okay.
Yeah. We closed out at least level number 4. We were assigned to level 3 for the whole thing, but we only ate in level 3 once. So speaking of eating, if anyone is ever, if you go on your first cruise and they ask you, do you like my time dining on Royal or do you like scheduled dining? It really is what you prefer. But I felt like if we scheduled a dinner, that it would kind of rule our day to the sense of we'd be obsessed with the clock all afternoon, because you got to, especially when you're on vacation, right? You have to account for every family member getting ready. You're hot, you're sweaty, you swam, all this stuff. You got to take showers, you got to get ready. So you have to account for that pocket of time. Did we still do that? Yes, but with my time, you just show up. So we showed up, and we would just count backwards like we saw Mamma Mia on the first night, which was a phenomenal Broadway show. We all loved it. Jill's still playing the music in her room and singing away and dancing and acting to it, and that's amazing. So we would just go backwards. We'd be like, okay, the show was at 8. All right, we all have to make sure we're back at the room by 6 to get ready. But we went to dinner, and no, I'm sorry, earlier. So anyway, we go to dinner, right? We tried to give ourselves a 2-hour window, and at first I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute. My travel agent said that my time dining was quick.
Hmm.
There was a line. We were probably, if you're talking families, 20 families deep. I'm thinking we're not getting into dinner for like an hour at least.
Hmm.
But the fact was, the restaurant didn't open until 6:45 anyway. So anyway, we got in within minutes. So my time dining, don't ever fear the line, because there were other nights it was already open and they were well into dinner, rolling along. We got in within 15 minutes every time. And they move you along too. They would do things like I said, we only ate on our assigned floor once. Because what they would do is if it was looking like the third level was taking too long and it was going to cause too much of a wait, they'd give you a card and they'd say, go up to deck 4 and they'll seat you. So we'd go up to deck 4 and we'd be seated right away. Yeah. So my time dining is our thing to do for sure. And you don't sit the same place every time. If you do scheduled dining, you sit at the same table with the same people. We never shared a table with anybody, which was great.
Hmm.
So we had our private time with that. And, we went to Coco Cay. It was our first stop. And I freaked out in the morning because I've never done this before. I peel back the curtains, and what do I see? I don't see the ocean anymore. I see a wall of balconies and people looking at me. And for 2 seconds, my brain went totally unlogical, if that's a word, Allison, because I was like, wait a minute, because there's balconies on the inside of the ship where you can look down into what they call Central Park, which is nice with trees and restaurants and all that. I was like, wait a minute, did they reverse our room? And I was like, no, that's ridiculous.
While I was sleeping.
So I go out onto the balcony and I see we're docked next to another ship. That close too.
Wow.
It's close. Tammy comes out and she's like, oh my gosh, we can see into their rooms. I'm like, yeah, this is nuts. And I look below and there's thousands of people just moving towards the island. I'm like, we got to get going. So we did Coco Cay, which is Royal's private island. There's so much to do there. They have a water slide park there. It is pricey for the time you get to spend there, so that wasn't an option for us. I want to say, give or take, it was about $150 per person. Probably a little more expensive. And if you think about it, you can only be there from like 8 in the morning to like 3:30, 4:30. So that wasn't worth it to us. But I did buy our own masks, so we did snorkel over there for a little bit. Jacob and I found a stingray and some other fish. And they plant down there half of a pirate ship, or the side of a pirate ship. So we discovered that. So that was pretty cool. And we ate. Oh, and we ziplined. We ziplined on Coco Cay. So that was pretty cool. The upcoming vlog for this next Tuesday, you're going to I hooked cameras up to Jacob and Jill and me. So y'all going to take a ride with us on the zip lines.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
because I won't do that. So I get to experience it through their eyes. Yes.
Yeah. So that will be fun for you all to see. And then Tammy was filming as well, us coming in. So I put together all these different angles on one of the runs. So that's pretty cool. Mr. Cruise Fever. I never put this together. He must love cruises. So he must be loving this. When do we cruise? When we do cruise, he says, set dinner time. Servers know us all week. That is a benefit to that. And like I said, it really is, it really is up to you as to what, to what you prefer. You can sometimes see interesting things when you're next to another ship, says Sharon. I bet. We'll have to talk about that. But you know what was cool about being next to another ship? You could check out their stuff and compare. We were able to look on their top deck and see what they had compared to what we had, and I'll tell you, we blew them away. We had so much more than they did. The cruise line was MSC, which is a much cheaper cruise line with not as great a reputation. The ship looked nice. It looked nice. Very sharp black and white ship and things like that. But, maybe that's a ship, if cost is an issue, and you know that the food is, this is what I'm telling for feedback. If the cost is an issue and you feel like, you know, you're not always going to get the greatest level of food, but you're going to get a good cost and a cruise experience, then, you know, you can do that. Entertainment-wise, Royal Caribbean for us, 1,000%. We saw a jazz band play one night after dinner. They were amazing. We saw an R&B band perform a couple of sets. I discovered that Jacob loves live music. He even said at one point, we got up at one point, you know, it was probably after midnight. He's like, Dad, it's rude to get up in the middle of a set, so we should sit. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to argue with that. So we sat down until as soon as that last note was hit, though, I was like, okay, we're out.
We're out.
But we had a lot of fun doing that too. And there's so much to do on these cruises.
Yeah.
We were all wondering if I thought that we might get extended relaxing pool time, maybe to the point where you're like, all right, I kind of wish we had more to do. That's the thing we didn't get to do. We hardly had any relaxing pool time because we were always doing something.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it was a 4-night cruise, so if we had more time, that's where I think the relaxing pool time would have come in. So if you reflect back on it, I like to reflect back on vacations and what did we do well, what could we do better, what will we do different next time, and that's really the only thing we would do different is try to put in a little more relaxation pool time, but it's going to have to be an extra day to do it. Unless, no, because I could see us doing the same itinerary, and did you know that there are people that cruise for the boat and not the destinations? And I think that comes along after you've cruised for a while.
Right.
And I thought, you know, Jacob's like, well, shouldn't we cruise somewhere else? Absolutely, we should. But there might be times where you just want to you can sneak in a short cruise.
Yeah.
And so what if you go to Coco Cay and Nassau again like we did? Because you can use like that Nassau day to stay on the boat.
Right.
Because what I learned going in is true. If you stay on the boat on a day where they go to an island, and you're good with not getting off the boat, you run that boat. There's nobody there. You can get any seat you want by the pool. You can do anything you want. Now, some things are closed because of that, but whatever's open, you can take total advantage of that, for sure. Less walking than Disney World. I should have seen how. I wonder if I can look back on that. I'll have to look back on that if I can, because we walked a lot. That boat was big, and we walked a lot because we were active. You know, if we wanted to go do something and it was at the other end, we went, and then we go back to the other end because there was something else we wanted to do. So the boat was big. We never ate lunch. At the Windjammer is their buffet. It was amazing. We ate breakfast there every day. They even had pre-made eggs, like 2 eggs over easy. You could just grab them off the plate. Boom. Or they'd make specialty omelets. They had everything you could think of for breakfast, and I love breakfast. So we did do one part of a vlog where I showed what we got for breakfast, so you all will see that. But lunchtime, I realized later we didn't really go for lunch. The only way we had lunch was there's a place called El Loco Fresh, and it's a Mexican quick serve. You can go in there in your bathing suit or whatever. You grab a plate, and it's like going behind the counter at Chipotle.
Oh,
okay. You just scoop up, you know, your little carnitas, your steak bits, your chicken bits, and your guac and your cheese and your tomatoes and your sour cream. You do it all yourself. And so made a couple of plates of that and brought it back to the pool 2 out of the 4 afternoons. So ate a little bit, but and the other thing about by the pool is with Royal anyway, they have a soft serve ice cream stand right by the pool. Can you imagine Finley with that? Daddy, can I have another ice cream?
Imagine me.
It was so easy to just sit by the pool. It's hot, and one of us would be like, "Y'all want to get another ice cream cone?" Yeah. So you just go up. The line is never long. It's probably 2/3 the size of a standard cone you would get, which is good, you know. And we usually got a couple of those probably throughout the day. So always nice to do that. The newer ships are now adding sorbet. and
Good.
Things like that.
Good.
That's all included as well. So is there any questions before I wrap that up, everybody, as far as our cruise, our vacation, and how it went? And I'm just trying to think of anything else. I'll give you all a minute to put like a Q in there or whatever.
So let me tell you all something. So I'm gonna flip the script a little bit. The script, as if we have a script. Not on
Is
this.
Eula back?
No. No, but we were going to talk about Disney news this week, but we have run out of time. So what we're going to do is direct you to Miles from Main Street, who is about to go live on their podcast with 2 guests who can talk to you about some Disney news.
Well, there you go. Surprise to me, surprise to you all. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And how about that? That's cool. That's cool. I've been going since 6:15 this morning, and I'm still going.
So So they have access to be on their show. We had agreed, and they want to talk about some of the Disney news that came out. So we're going to. No, this is not scripted. Yeah, I'm so glad you think it is.
No. There were some. Apparently, I'm so good at live streaming. We've been accused of scripting our live streams.
That's true. That's true. Yes. I remember that the first time I hung out with you, I'm like, oh no, it's like really off the cuff. Yeah. So I've put the link in the chat. You guys can feel free to head over there if you are watching this live. If you are watching the replay, absolutely go ahead and head over. They are one of our partners in the Disney podcast family on Instagram. So we will be joining them on their show. Thank you to Eula Toca for joining us tonight. Absolutely phenomenal to be able to talk to somebody and with her family's history and what they mean to Disney and the Disney lore. And thank you to my brother Nick. That was really the reason that happened. So, and when we get off the air with Miles from Main Street, I'll have a story to tell. Corey, he has no idea what the last hour before the show was like. So,
yeah, I am dying to hear this.
Yeah,
I am dying to hear it. We do it live because we do it for all of you. And yes, Eula Toca was amazing. I have not that I didn't disrespect Tiana. I have so much of a deeper feeling and meaning to me now for Tiana. So I'm gonna go back and watch the movie. Gonna watch the ride. Gonna do the ride on Saturday, hopefully.
Yep.
And it's going to mean so much more. That's amazing, amazing, amazing. See all your comments in the chat. Thank you all for being so active in chat. Please leave some comments below so that we can help. It helps the podcast and everything to do that. And Lawrence and I will go back and answer each and every one of your comments.
Yep.
Appreciate Mr. Cruise Fever talking about some cruise stuff. I see that there. So, yeah. We'll talk more cruises, and every Tuesday night on the channel, 7 or 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, depending on the Tuesday, we will be rolling out some more vlogs. So we'll be live tomorrow night from the parks. Hope to see you all there. Am I in Magic Kingdom or am I in Epcot? I was thinking of that. I don't even know. Tomorrow is Epcot,
and then Saturday is Magic.
Oh, that makes sense. Yes. Yep. Okay. Perfect. All right. We love you all, and we're just a couple of bros talking Disney.
Hey, I'll end it with this quote since we got this. Pray, work hard, and do for others.
Absolutely.
People living over any allowed to come out of hiding.